Representative Williams, just to back up a little bit, how do you see this in relationship to the Race to the Top funds? Didn't this initially get motivated by the governor and the Secretary of State and saying you got to make innovative schools, turn them around in order to get the money? I mean,
well, see again, but the Race to the Top don't have anything to do with the takeover of Milwaukee Public Schools. This is just something that just as you just said, the notion that it's all about the money. Oh, the other man said, I'm sorry. It's all about money, and you can do the Race to the Top that don't require taking over Milwaukee Public Schools. It really don't. This is just a sidebar that, as your question kind of intimated, that the governor and Arne Duncan, who is not an educator, is sort of like want his legacy to be how many school districts he can take over before he leaves the Obama administration. And I think he's already have 7 school districts that he's taken over around the nation. And so Milwaukee is on his list. And so, because Arne Duncan, and look at what happened to Chicago. I mean, that's nothing to write home about, to say, let's copy Chicago because they have a beautiful school district. But I think this is all about power and control. It really is very racist about this whole takeover, because the school district is predominantly African American, and it's just a matter of, this is the kind of money. We have an African American man who is president of the board, who has shown that he's not afraid, and that they cannot turn him into a puppet. What they're used to doing is going to people and saying, this is what we want, and we want you to rubber stamp it. And just, we're going to make the decision, but you go ahead and validate it. And Dr. Bond told him, no, this is a responsibility of the board, and we're gonna do our job. And it's, well, you got to do what we say. No, I don't. I do what the people want. Well, then we'll just take over the school district.
Kate here has been teaching in Chicago public schools until recently.
Oh, you're the one that we've been hearing about that.
Oh wow, yeah. No, I mean, I was gonna say, like, I guess the way that I see it is, I do think it's connected to Race to the Top, because in Chicago, for example, which they still see as a model, unfortunately, the school closings that took place, all the charter schools that were licensed, and a lot of the teacher bashing that took place, or even bashing of the teachers union, which is linked to Race to the Top, I think took place under mayoral control.
Yeah.
And so the way that I saw it is that they were able to do all of these things because they didn't have a democratically elected school board that would stand in the way. And so you could have people at the top, you know, basically telling the mayor what to do, and that's my concern. I don't think you have to have a mayor running the schools to do that, but I think it makes it a lot easier for people who want to privatize.
Yeah, because when you take away the power from the elected board, because the board then would have to listen to us.
Right.
But if you take away that board's power, then there's nobody there, and like you said, they can just and it's really, there's a tie-in to charter, and not even the choice schools, but there's a move to shut down the choice schools that's ran by African Americans. You know, and and a lot of these people that's opposed to the choice program really gets on me. It's all your fault, Polly, because you're the one that did it. If you had never did it, we would. I said, yeah, but my whole idea of the choice thing was never to replace Milwaukee Public Schools, never to create. In fact, the choice program is the second largest school district in the state. So Milwaukee has 2 school districts, and that was never our intent. We just only wanted a small percentage of parents who could exercise their right to find a school that really, really addressed the needs of their kids. And then we were hoping that the public school would say, hey, we're losing 1,500 students. Hey, we don't want to lose that. Let's improve our schools so that parents won't want to leave us. That's what the intent behind it was, to have the public schools wake up. And but what happened was then these conservative groups and everybody, the door was open and they just swooped right in, boy, and just took over and just made this program, I don't agree with the direction that is going now, because I never wanted to hurt public education, I just wanted to help parents. And so now we got about 22,000 kids, which hurts the public schools. And so now people are abandoning the public schools. And then people get on me and say, oh, now, after you have destroyed the public schools with choice, then I said, no, it was never my intent, because I wanted to help public and private, whatever parents wanted. So, yes, sir.
I was talking to an attorney who opposed the Chicago Public Schools in a lawsuit, and she was saying that if there is a takeover of the schools, the next thing that should happen is legislation, which they have now passed in Illinois, but it's kind of belated, legislation to make a protocol for school closing. Not, criteria and procedures for school closing, so that school closings can't be railroaded by a top-down administration over people's, regardless of parental or teacher involvement and input. So that would, if there is a takeover, then there should be a movement toward creating legislation to prevent top-down school closings. That's a big part of this.
Well, it should be, but if they get the votes to take over the schools, that same vote would be against legislation that would prevent them from, because once they take control, they intend to do everything
But they got
that
it
we
in
don't want
Illinois.
them to do.
But they have it in Illinois. They passed the legislation.
Sure,